It's an air trigger. Bloody Boston. Planted a patch of spring greens.
Spring greens?
It's rhyming slang for anti-personnel mine. Clever devil. Well, that's it. Not quite right. We're snookered. Can't go over them, can't get around them. Silly lying here waiting for a bayonet up the job for this one. I warned you about those stewed prunes, Smith, on your own headbeard.
No, sir.
Look, it's my brother Stan's mob.
No job too silly or unlikely. They'll find a way through the minefield.
The what?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The spring greens.
Thank you.
Kamikaze contractors. K-A-M-K-A-Z-E. Kamikaze contractors.
Stick 'em up. Sorry, Squire. It's all right, sir. It's our stand. What's that, Bill? Minefield. What's the target? Enemy general. We're supposed to grab him from his country retreat. Tasty gaff, is it? Should be. He's had the pick of the art treasures of Europe. Oh, looking for a nice Rubens. Right. I'll do it for any little knickknacks I come across. And a mention in dispatches. All right, sir? Done. Right. Well, I'll just go and brief the lads then.
Is he on our side?
Right, lads. Bish bash bosh job. Grab the bonus and run. Well, quick as you like. Last one across is a sissy. Have a look at that. Oh, well done, Jimmy. Oh, bloody masterful, George. Oh, no, two at once. Oh, tears to your eyes. A silly and impossible tale of men hurling themselves across a minefield for the bonus at the end of the rainbow. Nobody's really that greedy or stupid. Unfortunately, there aren't any minefields on building sites, are there? Electricity cables? Oh, well, yes, there are electricity cables. Underground, overground, around and through buildings. In cities, they're everywhere, like giant cats' cradles. But what have electricity cables got in common with mines? Nothing. Have they?
Well, the job on the building site is general labour, and the job I was given this day was to drill a hole to sink a gate post to make the gate more secure, to stop children climbing in overnight. So at first there was two of us on it with a little drill. We were drilling down with a pavement. So we told the foreman, and he said, we'll move back 3 inches towards the site. So we moved back 3 inches. We was drilling down, and we wasn't getting nowhere with a small drill. So we changed over to a bigger one. And I took my turn on drill, we was working together, turning inches. And as I got down, say about 10 inches. At the time I was drilling, my mate was leaning against the gate post with one hand in his pocket. And he went, as the roar and the flames come out, he was burnt and threw against the wire fence across the road. Hit the wire fence, he came back and landed in the middle of the road.
What did you see when
I got up, all I could see was my friend landing in the middle of the road with people that come from offices around the corner. It's completely black and he was smoking. He was laying on the floor and people were patting him to put the smoke out.
And what was left?
What was left?
Of his clothes?
It was just from his knees of his trousers and just the shoulders of his jacket. The shirt was completely gone at the front. His legs was all showing burnt and black as well.
Well, we'd gone to the near Aldgate station. We were going to put a cable duct from a lamppost to a signpost, which was along the footway. And it was an entrance to a pedestrian crossing. And we'd gone about 7 or 8 metres, I should say, when 14 inches deep, which is normal. And I came across a piece of concrete, and it wouldn't shift with a graft or a shovel, so I got a pick to shift it.
Well, I dug all right round it, you see, and the next thing, I put the fart down
get out a lump of concrete, and the whole lot blew up in my face.
And what happened to you?
I was on fire in the trench, you see. So the minute I cut myself on, I jumped out of the hole and ran around the road and quenched myself off, which I was all burned, really.
How did you put the flames out?
Out with my hands and my cap. There was burning, and my cap was still burning on my head, so I kept slashing myself with it, you know. Finally, there was no clothes left at all on me.
And what damage has it left you?
Well, it has left me with bad hands and all grafts in my body. Yeah.
Can I see your hand?
Yeah. My hands. The grafts up my arms, see.
And has it affected the use of your hands?
Well, that one, yes. That one it has. But this one is coming back to itself very good. But this one is very tight yet, you know.
And where else were you burned?
And that leg from there to here, on my chest, this leg, all across here, and across my face, and all my hair was buttoned up.
And what makes those memories of accident and pain even harder to come to terms with is that they were all avoidable. There are simple, common-sense procedures laid down, and if they'd been followed, none of the accidents just heard about would have happened. Live underground cables are always present in residential and urban areas. So the first thing to do is to get the cable plan, available from the Area Electricity Board. This plan will give you the official position of all known electricity cables, but not necessarily all service cables or those that have been privately laid. The next step is the use of a cable detector. This piece of equipment should be available on every site where cables may be present, and will give the general location of any cable carrying sufficient current. And that's the flaw. A cable can be live, but when it's not being used, no current flows. And then most detectors, unlike this one, will not be able to pick it up. Nor will they pick up DC current or detect an HV cable that is well balanced. Detectors also require practice before the operator can interpret the information he is getting with any real degree of accuracy. That is why, even having completed these two steps, the cable plan and detector, there is still need for caution. A cable moved unofficially and not carrying a sufficient flow of electricity could be just under the surface, despite cable plans and detector. That is why, finally, trial holes are dug to actually locate the cable run before project digging can go ahead, and all cables found should be treated as live. Hand digging carefully in case the cable is nearer the surface than expected. And when protective tiles, bricks or marking tape are found, that doesn't mean the search is over.
Son, I found it.
It has been known for a line of warning tape or protective coverings to have been moved to one side during previous work, and not to have been replaced when the cable was buried again. The next time, the careful location of the protective tile led to the assumption that the cable was underneath it, and a pick, swung confidently into the apparently safe area alongside, penetrated the cable. Another basic mistake that could be made by even careful people using plans and detectors is to think that cables run in straight lines, as they do on plans. They never do. When cable is laid, it naturally snakes. So that is why, when possible, a couple of feet safety margin should be given on each side of the line of location holes. Another reason for cable deviation is the result of previous work. The pulling aside for other services or reburying at a different depth. The possibilities are endless, but they are all taken into account with this simple point of view. A cable can be anywhere until it is located. That doesn't mean the protective pathway. It means the cable itself.
The hole was approximately 7 foot long by about 2'6" wide. And, it had located the pipe at this stage. And we found where the actual burst on the pipe